Let us now discuss some properties or basic properties of joint cumulative distribution function. Before going into discussing the properties of the joint cumulative distribution function, let us first talk about, just recall what were the properties of cumulative distribution function of a random variable. This is just a recall. So you see that we have seen these four properties are satisfied by a cumulative distribution function of a random variable, as well as if any function satisfies these four properties, that will be a cumulative distribution function of a random variable. Okay, these four properties we have seen in the last chapter. Okay, so now what we are going to do is that we are going to see the properties of the joint cumulative distribution function and try to make a consequence, or try to make a correspondence between the property of the cumulative distribution function and that of the joint cumulative distribution function. Okay, clear? So let us start with the first one. The first property for the cumulative distribution function was that if I take the limit of the cumulative distribution function as x goes to plus infinity, it will be 1. Okay, that was the first property, that if I take x goes to infinity, then limit is 1. Now what does this intuitively mean? This intuitively means that this one is basically nothing but probability that capital X less than equal to small x. So now when I take small x goes to infinity, that basically means that I am covering the whole real line, and that's why basically I am having the probability 1. Okay, so basically I have the real line here. If this point is x, then the probability, the distribution function is nothing but the probability of this side. The distribution function is nothing but the probability of x less than equals to small x. Now if I push this point x to infinity, that means I will cover the whole real line, and that basically means that the random variable is in the real line, and random variable is always in real line. That's why the probability is 1. And similar interpretation is true for the other one also. This is basically if I push this one to infinity. Now if I push this one to minus infinity, that means nothing is included, and that's why the probability is 0. Okay, so let us try to find out the corresponding thing in the cumulative distribution function. So for the cumulative distribution function, you see the first property. The first property is actually talking about, I am taking the x goes to infinity and y goes to infinity. So again, let us go back to the graph. So for cumulative distribution function, the graphical representation is nothing but, well, I have two-dimensional space. If this point is xy, the cumulative distribution function or the joint cumulative distribution function at the point xy is the probability that the random variable is in this region. Okay. Now, if I push x goes to infinity, that means this straight line goes this side, as well as y goes to infinity, that means this goes to that side. So that way I will cover the whole R square, and x being a function from the sample space to R square, x the random vector be a function from the sample space to R square. That basically means that I cover the whole possibility for the random vector x, and that means the probability will be 1. Okay, and that is basically the first property of the cumulative distribution function. The second property and third property basically coming from these properties, they are coming from this property of the cumulative distribution function. It says that when I push my x to minus infinity, the probability will go to 0. Okay, the same thing actually going to occur here. In this case, you see that if I push x to minus infinity, that means this point goes towards minus infinity, keeping y fixed. This point goes to minus infinity, and if it goes like that, that basically means that I will not left with anything. Similarly, if I push y goes to minus infinity, that point actually through this line, this point will move this direction, and finally I will not having any point in the R square. So that basically means that I will have the probability to be 0. So that's why we have this two properties, these two properties, that if I fix my y for all fixed y in R, if I take x goes to minus infinity, the value of the joint cumulative distribution function will be 0. Similarly, if I keep x for all fixed x, if I take y goes to minus infinity, the value will be 0. Okay, so these two things, just keep this thing in mind. When I take plus infinity, both of them has to take plus infinity to have the value to be 1. But if I take any one of the random variable goes to minus infinity, keeping other fixed, I will have the value of the joint cumulative distribution function will be 0. Okay, clear? Next property is basically nothing but cumulative distribution function is right continuous, and this is straightforwardly can be extended for the joint cumulative distribution function. It says that when joint cumulative distribution function is right continuous in each argument keeping other fixed. So if you fix other, it will be right continuous in the rest random variable. So I take one random variable, suppose I take x argument x, and now if I fix y, then in x it is right continuous for all x belongs to R. Similarly, I take y, it is right continuous for all y belongs to R for each fixed x in R. Okay, fine. Then the next one, which is the fifth property actually gives that some combination of the joint distributions at some point, if you take the joint distribution function and if you add them and subtract them, it will be greater than equals to 0. Now from where this quantity comes? Okay, let us again go back to the property of cumulative distribution function, and the last property which says it is a non-decreasing. What does non-decreasing mean? Non-decreasing basically mean that if I take any interval, suppose 2 point, one is x, another is y, so clearly in this case x is less than y, then the distribution function at the point y is greater than or equals to distribution function at the point x, for which I can write in this manner. Okay, clear? So the distribution function at the point x is greater than or equals to the distribution function at the point x. That basically non-decreasing means. So that basically means that if I take a interval, then this quantity is basically nothing but probability that capital X less than equals to small y but greater than small x, right? This quantity is basically probability that capital X lies between x and y. X is excluded but y is included. Clear? Right? So this non-decreasing in a way says that, in a way basically subproduct of the fact that the probability has to be greater than equals to 0. Actually coming from the probability has to be greater than equals to 0. Okay? So non-decreasing property of a distribution function, cumulative distribution function, basically nothing but it says that the probability that the random variable in an interval is greater than equals to 0. Now when I go for the bivariate random variable, what is the first thing is what is the generalization of an interval? A very straightforward generalization of an interval is basically a rectangle. I take interval in both the axes and then I get a rectangle, right? So I have something like this, and I take two intervals, one interval here, another interval here, so I get a rectangle. Here. Okay. Now the corresponding property for the joint cumulative distribution function will be that the random vector xy belongs to this rectangle is greater than equals to 0. Clear? And from that one you see that we get that this particular thing. So what we have taken here, a1 is less than b1 and a2 is less than b2. So that basically means that this point is a1, this point is b1, this is a2, this is b2. That means this point is a1, a2, this point is b1, b2, this point is b1, a2, and finally this point is A1, B2. Clear? So now can I write the probability of that random vector belongs to this rectangle in terms of the distribution function? And if you try to write this one, you can easily see that, say if I take this part, if I take all this part, this is basically the distribution function at this point. Okay? So if I take this part, this is basically the distribution function at the point, this is the distribution function at the point B1, B2. So let me write this one. Distribution function of xy at the point B1, B2. But I need basically this rectangle. So first what I did is that I just subtract this part. Now I subtract the probability of this part. I subtract the probability of this part. So I am now subtracting all probability of this part. So this is basically the probability that xy belongs to this part is nothing but the distribution function at this point. Okay. So let me write this one now. This is basically minus distribution function at the of the random vector xy at the point B1, A2. Now I have to subtract this part. Now I have to subtract basically this part. But obviously I cannot subtract only this part. What I am going to do is that I am going to basically subtract this part because I need to write in terms of the distribution function. So I subtract this part, which is basically nothing but the distribution function at the point A1, B2. So again I subtract it, that minus distribution function at the point minus the distribution function at the point minus distribution function at the point, this point is A1, B2. Okay, clear? Now what happened? This part, this is the final part, this side, I have basically subtracted twice. So I have to add this. So I just add this and I can write this quantity plus f of xy at the point, this point, which is the point A1, A2. A1 and A2. Right? So the distribution, so the probability that the random vector xy belongs to this rectangle can be written in this form. I hope this one is clear. If not, you ask me in the doubt clearing session. I will again explain it. So now, so this is basically nothing but probability that random vector xy sorry, belongs to the rectangle A1, B1 cross A2, B2, and that probability, that quantity given in this form. That's why this quantity has to be greater than equals to 0. This is being a probability. Clear? So the non-decreasing property for the distribution function, when I convert it for a joint cumulative distribution function of two random variables, then it turns out to be this way. Now you see that you can easily extend all those things for more than two random variables. For example, this one will be, if I have three random variables x, y, z, I have three limits here. Limit x goes to infinity, limit y goes to infinity, limit z goes to infinity of the cumulative distribution function of x, y, z will be 1. I have three properties here. For each variable I can take to minus infinity, keeping other two fixed. Every time the probability will be 0. The right continuity will be same, that it will be right continuous in each argument, keeping the other fixed. And this one will, the writing of this one will be cumbersome, but this again can be written. For example, in case of the 2 dimension, I will take a cuboid, and once I have a cuboid, I can again try to write in terms of the distribution function, the probability that xy inside a cube, I can write in terms of a distribution function, and from that one I will have this property. Okay, and note that this property holds true if A1, B1, A2, B2 satisfy these two conditions. Okay, otherwise I will not have a rectangle. To have a rectangle, proper rectangle, I have this condition. Okay, I hope these properties are okay. The proof of this property exactly same as that, or the way we proved it for the one dimension case. So the proof I am not going into, but you try to understand the intuitive idea how it comes from the one-dimensional random variable to two-dimensional random vector. Okay, good. So I stop here for this lecture. So you'll again meet in the next lecture. Okay. Before that, just before stopping, there is another important thing. I just tell this one and then I stop. So this is basically again same as the one-dimensional random variable. For the one-dimensional random variable, we have seen that if a function satisfies these four properties, this will be a cumulative distribution function of some random variable. The same thing true here, that if some function g satisfy the condition 1 to 5 above, it will be a joint cumulative distribution function of some two-dimensional random vector. So it is just same as that of the one dimension, and it is not only true for the two dimension, you can generalize it for the any dimension, any fixed dimension random variable. Okay, I hope the things are understandable. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you for listening.